Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to another video. And today I have my first palette crush of the month update. It's a project that I created myself a month ago to kind of help me just focus on things in my collection and really get some kind of like use and appreciation for palettes that either I feel like are neglected or just palettes that I want to use more. So hopefully you like this challenge and this project. And in case you're new here, hi, my name's Sasha. I love indie makeup, I love colorful makeup, I love eyeshadows especially. And I love panning and all of these like makeup challenges. That's what I've been really focusing on this year. And I think I've been able to like get some really nice progress so far with all my projects. So as I said, today it's gonna be the palette crush of the month. A month ago, I rolled a palette that I was supposed to use every single day. In some capacity. There's no rule as to how much you have to use that palette. Like you don't have to use a full-on, you don't have to create a full-on look with that palette. You can just use one shade and it doesn't have to be for your eyes. The palette that I chose was the Delicious Delights palette by Cosmic Beauty. Which is a gorgeous palette. It's part of my spring like top 10 palettes for spring, which is usually a collection that I do every single season to just kind of keep me like focused on a certain palette and try to get some more uses out of them. So this was one of them. It is a gorgeous palette that I do reach for kind of throughout the whole year, but I haven't really reached for her too much in the past couple of months. I've been focusing on other products and I wanted to give her some love because I am kind of toying with the idea of using this one for the Panda palette in order, which I would like to start next year or maybe towards the end of this year. We'll see if I'm going to be very successful with my project pans this year and I'll be able to finish the palettes that I wanted to finish and get like a lot of progress on my Pandos palettes. I might even start this year. But I just wanted to like tap the waters to just like see if it's gonna work. And I still love this palette. It is gorgeous. I feel like it's just as wonderful as when I first reviewed this. I actually rewatched my review and I usually don't do that. Like I really hate hearing myself. Usually if I rewatch some of my videos just to remember like what I said about like number of uses or stuff like that, something that I forgot to write down and I need to mention it again. But otherwise I don't really watch that, but I watched the review of this, which is like, I definitely think that I do better things now and stuff is like a lot cleaner and smoother, especially with the video quality, but I remember how excited I was about this palette and I still am. So let me kind of tell you a little bit about this palette. First things first, it's actually a day later that I was supposed to update this. I was supposed to update this yesterday on the 12th, but there was one day that I haven't worn makeup because I was feeling sick. So I decided to just like postpone this one day to get the 30 uses. But otherwise I would wear it every single day. A lot of the times I would wear these two shades for blush and I would mix them with like a soft beigey white setting shade that I had in other palettes to have a nice blush. Also the shade Marshmallow was really nice for that. This one was really nice as highlighter and I would use this shade with my Pandos eyeshadows from the Merry Christmas palette, which is like a very bright green, like swampy bright green, and if you mix it with this very vibrant purple, you get this brow shade. That's what I'm wearing today. That's what I actually used today. So I had multiple ways to use this palette to get the 30 uses, but I was able to nope and left behind this palette 3 times. So I used every single shade at least 3 times, which just makes me so happy. And last month when I rolled this palette in, we were at 34 uses and now we're at 64 uses with this palette, which is just like so incredible. And yesterday I even hit a pan in this palette, which wasn't expected because I haven't really used that shade too much, but it is this squishy shade called Frosting. So we already have one pan. I'm surprised that the shade Delicious doesn't have a pan because the dip is insane. You have to use quite a bit of it, at least for me, because otherwise it doesn't show up as much. Because it's a very like soft iridescent shade, but yeah, it is just insane. So let me kind of tell you a little bit about the uses and everything. So let me get my the spreadsheet that I have from my Pendos eyeshadows, because I have the starter weight there and the starter amount of uses, because I haven't used this palette since the beginning of the year. Like I first used it for this project, and I have my beginning of the year statistics here. Okay, so this palette weighed 207 grams when I rolled it in to this project, and now it weighs 205.7 grams. So I've used up 1.3 grams of product, and I think each shade here is 1 gram. Let me try to find that. No, it's a little bit over a gram, because this palette has 23 grams of product for 20 shades, but still 1.3 grams. That means I technically like used up one shade. And considering this palette already had a couple of uses on it, like 30 plus uses, we've done quite well. Like I am very impressed, and a lot of these shades definitely show some like promising dips, and these pans are pretty shallow, at least from the shade Frosting, and I've heard from other people say that as well. So now let me get the statistics. I'm actually gonna have to take my laptop because I don't remember this from the back of my head, and I am horrible with these things. So first up, I'm gonna pop a picture. I forgot, well, I took a picture at the beginning of the project of this palette, and I can't find that picture. I don't know if I like saved it in some kind of folder that I can't access, but I can't find the photo. It was in similar condition, just like a couple dips are slightly bigger now. So yeah, I'm really sorry. I wish I had that, but I just cannot find it. If I'll find it, I'll pop it. Otherwise, I'm just gonna pop the way it looks like right now, so that you can see the shade names. So first up, we have Whipped Cream, which is the matte white one. We started at 4 uses, and we actually got to 16 uses. And that is because I would use it quite a lot for accents. I really like this, and also sometimes I would mix that with the pink and the like orangey brown to get the blush before I started using like more like a soft, bony eyeshadow. Then we have the shade Zesty, which is this like vibrant yellow that's kind of like, it's that like neon type yellow that has like that green in there. We started at 7 uses, and we're at 11. I actually used that couple times as well for these pops of colors, or for cut creases to like make again like lighter base for some iridescent shimmers. Then we have the shade Minty, which is this soft pistachio green, like this pastel green. We started at 5 uses, and we're at 9 uses. Then we have the shade Fizzy, which is this soft kind of minty green almost shimmery shade. I actually really like these shimmers, like this specific formula. It doesn't look that great in the pan, and it's not as sparkly, but it just looks really pretty on the eyes. And yeah, it's a really interesting shimmer formula that's not too sparkly, but also it doesn't look flat or satin. So we started that one on 4 uses, and now we're at 7, so I haven't used it as much, but I do really like it. Then we have the shade Lollipop, which is slightly deeper and a little bit more cool toned green. Lollipop was at 3 uses. It was my least used shade in this palette, with 1 more shade. And now we're at 6 uses as well. So like we added 3 uses as well. That's what I wanted to say. Then we have the multi-chrome shade Sprinkles, which is kind of like pinky red berry color going to this greeny gold. And Sprinkles, we started at 7 uses. and now we're at 10 uses. Then we have the shade Smoothie, which is this like very vibrant pink. Smoothie was at 6 uses and now we're at 15, so we used it quite a lot, mostly as a blush, but I would use it multiple times as an eyeshadow, especially with the yellows. So that's for Smoothie. Then we have Candy Floss, which is this really pretty pink shimmer. Candy Floss started at 3 uses and now it's at 7 uses. Then the soft matte pink shade called Marshmallow. We started at 6 uses and now we're at 13 uses. Then this beautiful warm yellow called Buttercream. We started at 8 uses and now we're at 12 uses, also stunning. Gingerbread, we started at 4 uses and now we're at 9 uses. Then we have First Thing, which is the shade that has a pan. First Thing, we started at 4 uses and now we're at 7 uses. Then the shade Milkshake, which is this like soft lavendery pastel-y pink, pastel-y purple. We were at 4 uses and now we're at 7 uses. Then we have the shade Jelly Bean, which is kind of more like a berry purple, like deeper one. Jelly Bean started at 4 uses and now it's at 7 uses. Then we have the shade Charms, which I used a lot in my brows. We started at 7 uses, now we're at 15. Sugar Plum, which is on the last row, and it's this beautiful shimmery blue. We were at 7 uses. We were at 5 uses, and now we're at 8 uses. Then we have the shade Sweetie, which is this beautiful soft baby blue, and we started at 6 uses and now we're at 9 uses. Then we have Slushy, which is quite vibrant, kind of like, I don't even know how to describe this color. Like, it's a very vibrant blue and it has a hint of green, but like very barely. So Slushy was at 5 uses and now it's at 10 uses. Then Ice Pop, which is this beautiful, cool, icy blue. We were at 5 uses and now we're at 10 uses. And then the shade Delicious, which is the iridescent shade, we started at 10 uses and now we're at 18 uses. So I think I'm gonna be hitting a pan fairly soon. And that's for this palette. Technically, I have it since 2023. And I think I reviewed it like during August. So technically, because this has 24-month shelf life, I should use it up this year, which I'm not gonna do. And I don't think it's gonna need that because the formula is still just as wonderful as I remembered to. I actually prefer this palette over other Cosmic Beauty palettes, even though I really like their other palettes, but I feel like they have some of my favorite shades and favorite formula here. So this one is still a wonderful, wonderful palette. And I was kind of wondering what I should do for next month or for this month. In my previous video, I mentioned that I was kind of wondering and deciding between this one and the Divination palette by Blend Bunny in collaboration with Robert Welsh. And I think we're definitely going to use that palette at some point because it has everything. But I decided for the next 31 days, right? Because May has 31 days. So for the next 31 days, I'm gonna be using and focusing on my Chromebook Volume 2 by DD Signature. Because it's a new palette that I actually haven't found my haul with yet. I think I've used it like 4 times. No, 3 times, sorry. So it is a new palette, but I want to get some uses out of it and really get accustomed with this formula. because I want to buy the new collection. I don't remember what it's called. That kind of like really colorful one, which is gonna be on Monolith in a couple days. But also I would just like to, you know, like really get my thoughts on this formula. And because this palette has a couple mattes that are like deeper and I can use them with most looks, I can use at least one of the shades. But what I really like about this palette, it has so many shimmers and a lot of them are light iridescent shades. Even though in the palette they look quite dark, but honestly, like if you swatch them, you'll notice that they don't have that much of a base, most of them. So they will kind of stretch over a lot of different skin depths. And that way I can use this palette for my cheeks as a highlighter. That was one of the kind of issues that I had last month, or that I was worried about, because if I'm meant to use this every single day, and that day would be a day where I'm reviewing a new product, I don't really want to interfere in that with this product and use it on my eyes, but I want something that I can use on other parts of my face. So with these I can definitely use a couple of them as face highlighter, or I can use the darkest shade as eyeliner, or obviously I could use this purple with the green shade that I have in my Pendos eyeshadows and make a brown for my brows. So I can always like use this. And with this palette, because it is more like a companion palette, I'm not gonna feel as bad if I'm only gonna use like one shade at a time. Whereas with the Delicious Delights, I sometimes feel bad for only using like two shades. One for brows and one for maybe like a blush or highlighter, or maybe like a pop of color. So with this one, I feel like I'm not gonna feel as guilty about that. But we'll definitely get to the divination palette eventually throughout the year as well. Like we still have so many more months. So the Chromebook, I'm gonna count it from tomorrow, which is 14th for me, since like today obviously I'm not gonna be wearing that. So we're gonna be updating this on the 14th next time, and it always will like, we'll always have to add one day obviously, that way. We're starting at 3 uses, and currently this palette weighs 176.45 grams. So we'll see where I'm gonna get next month. And as I said, the rules are I have to use at least one of the shades every single day for the next 31 days to have this project completed for the month. And yeah, at least I'm gonna get to know this palette, because this one is a 15 pan. Yeah, this one is a 15 pan. So yeah, if I'll use just one of the shades, I'll get 2 uses for every single one. And if I'll use more, I'll use more. But that will give me a really nice idea. And since I filmed the review of this, I think on the 1st of May, if I remember that correctly, or I uploaded that, I don't have to release the haul until like during June. So I have like quite a long time with this. And by the end of this project, and this month, I will have a really good idea of what to say about this palette in my monthly haul. So I decided to like kind of change it up. I don't want to do all just older palettes, even though I think my main focus will be on that. If you want to suggest palettes that I should focus on in the next month, feel free to leave a comment. You can check my eyeshadow palette collection that I made at the end of December, and obviously you can search through my channel to like get to know which palettes I own and which not. And in the end, during like June, I think it's gonna be towards the end of June, I'm gonna definitely film a mid-year check to kind of see where we are with my collection and what changed, because there are a couple of changes. So I think that's everything for this video. Definitely let me know what you think about my new palette and what you think about my progress. if you want to be part of this challenge and part of this project, feel free to. I would love to see your progress on this. I will leave down below and also on the screen the hashtag that you can use to notify me that you're part of this project, and also tag me if you're gonna be focusing on any of your palettes. If you don't wear makeup every single day, the rule is just use it every single time you do your makeup, and then you can just count how many times you actually did your makeup and how many times you've used that palette. But yeah, if you don't wear makeup every day, it's completely fine. You still can be part of the project. Just use it every single time you do your makeup. And by the way, for eyeshadows, some people do that with shimmers too, but I don't really like how that looks on my lips. You can also use mattes to create lipsticks. Like, you just put on a slight bit of Vaseline and then you just rub your finger into the eyeshadow and just, use that on your lips. So that is one use as well. You can definitely play, and maybe you'll find even more ways how you can use your eyeshadows. So that's everything for me. I can barely speak, but hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about this project, and I'll be super happy to see you tomorrow. I think tomorrow will be either my eyeshadow bank update or my Project 20 Uses update, one of these, and the other will be the next day. So yeah, I hope you'll enjoy that. Have a great day, and bye.